Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow toast troops. Welcome back to the channel. This is your host with the most, A.K.A. Nelson. And today is the famed day that I know some of y'all may be waiting for. Some of y'all, maybe not everyone. And for those who I'm referring to, in case some of y'all are curious about what am I speaking about, a few weeks ago, not a few weeks ago, y'all, but some time ago, I have released a video in regards to another edition within my sus series in regards to the question, are trans women sus? And in the making of that video, it had dawned upon me that, first of all, I should have gone ahead and put a trigger warning on there, so that's my bad. And I will hopefully be able to clear that up some point in time. But I also said to myself that as I was loading it up for you guys to watch, I said to myself that I definitely need to go ahead and make a part two to, probably expand on certain things that are going to take a second look around if I can. But before we get into it, let me go ahead and get into my quick disclaimers if I possibly can. First and foremost, I always typically try to get to the gist of my thought process in the first 5 minutes I possibly can, because I understand most people probably don't have the attention span to go past that. And secondly, y'all, please stay hydrated. Now, today, again, two fingers, trying to be careful. I'm going to treat myself a little bit to some sparkling wine. Give me a second. And yes, y'all, when you're drinking Fanta, you got to put two pinkies in the air. Not just one, it's two. And if anyone ever says otherwise, I mean, that's them, but I'm just saying this. But anyhow, y'all, to go in further into this, or to get into this now, since this is part two, I would advise anyone who's watching this, please go watch part one. Then come back and then watch this video. All right, you got some time. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes. Not 5 minutes, y'all. 5 seconds, right? All right, so pause the video, come back. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's go. And the two things specifically I do want to expand upon that I brought up in my within the part one, and I want to address in this one is, again, y'all, because I had some feedback from some friends of mine who had watched it, and they shared something with me that I thought was very interesting. Is because for you guys to know this, I have a Discord, and I don't always participate in it as much as I probably should. But what they typically do is they'll probably find some time during the weekend or whatnot when some people are free and they'll watch some of my videos, which I appreciate the support and thank you very much for that. But what was interesting, they brought up to my attention that in the midst of watching the video, because they didn't make it all the way through, I think they got about halfway, somewhere early on in the beginning of the video, or getting towards the middle, they brought to my attention that someone had left. And I thought that was very interesting because, again, y'all, I made it clear, not necessarily in the title, but I said in the video in the beginning, I took 5 minutes, literally about 5 minutes, in making it clear that, again, if you cannot take what I'm going to say, and again, if it don't apply, let it fly. Again, if the shoe does not fit, I encourage, if you did not want to listen to what I had to say, you could by all means check out. Now, here's the thing. That person did check out, and by all means, it's their own free will to do so. But I made it clear that if you didn't want to watch the video at that point, you could take yourself out. Now, of course, that's not going to necessarily discourage people all the way through until they get to that point where, it's just too much for them. But reason why I wanted to bring that up, y'all, is to say this. If I'm saying or I'm bringing up something in a light that is uncomfortable or seems as if it is something, oh, you shouldn't speak about that. Like, what business do you have speaking about it? Like, say, for instance, what business should I have to speak about trans women? No, I'm not a trans woman. I'm not part of the LGBTQ plus community necessarily. And, I'm a cisgender heterosexual male. So I can respect and understand that some people may look at me and say, you have no right to speak upon these matters. Who the fuck are you? And you know what? To an extent, I would agree with you. And why do I say to an extent I would agree with you is because, again, I understand there are certain matters, there are certain issues, there are certain climates within the world that I can move around and I can decently be fine. Versus for some who are trans women, I understand that there are unfortunately certain instances where there's violence being promoted to you guys or being provoked into you guys. And again, like I said in part one, and I'm going to say it right here again, y'all, let me make something clear. I am by no stretch of the imagination trying to invoke nor promote any kind of violence towards anybody. And it's certainly, of course, to those who are just, again, at the end of the day, y'all, they just trying to live life to the best of their abilities. So I do not want people to think that I'm faulting people for that by any means. I'm not. If you have made the decision to, again, go through the hormones, go through the prescriptions, go through the therapy, go through whatever you need to do to feel like you're in the right body that you want to feel and represent yourself again fully at display for everyone to see. By all means, baby, that is your choice, and I'm not against you making the choice. The only thing I would say in that regards is, and this is why I want to expand on this point. The only thing, y'all, when it comes to that I want to make sure is understood, y'all, is that I would advertise, or excuse me, not advertise necessarily, but I would advocate for anyone right now, if you're in that particular state of mind where you're not quite sure where you are, you're not quite sure how to fully represent yourself, and what have you, if you're in this crossroad, I would only encourage you to just take the time needed to make peace with the decision you're about to make. Because here's something else, and I didn't mention in part one, but I'll mention here. Some people may not bring it up, but to an extent, there are some people who do go through that transition and they regret it. And sometimes, unfortunately, those kinds of regrets can lead them to harming themselves and harming others. Now, of course, me saying that, I want to make that clear. That's not the majority of trans women out here by any means. That's not. But there are those who, again, because maybe they never took in consideration, this particular element in this particular case, in this particular notion, into, again, making that kind of decision. And not even just that, the time needed and spent to go through that transition, they can't get that time back. It may not cracked up to be what it seemed to be. And again, I would advocate to have those conversations with those that you possibly can have a better understanding of. Okay, maybe this is a decision I need to hold off of a little bit longer. Because at the end of the day, and wait a minute before I say anything else, let me make something clear, y'all. Again, respectfully, I understand that if I'm speaking from the realm of, oh, you know nothing about the struggle of trans women, you're absolutely right. I don't know the struggle of trans women. What I do know the struggle of is someone coming to terms with not just their quote unquote sexuality necessarily, but also come in terms of how to manifest the proper balance of masculinity and femininity. Because again, masculine energy, feminine energy, it exists within us, but trying to add, try to, I ain't gonna say control y'all, but trying to navigate through the avenues of how you want to portray that being in your private life and those in a public setting is troubling. It's frustrating. It is upsetting. It can possibly lead you to madness. And that's something I do have firsthand experience in, y'all. So I'm speaking in these matters from that lens. So again, with much respect, of course, respect. Again, y'all, I acknowledge I don't have the firsthand experience within those particular circles that I might be speaking about. But I don't discourage myself from necessarily speaking about them because, again, I know from one layer I may not associate on this particular layer, but on this particular layer, we're both on the same surface. Second thing I want to address too, y'all, in my first video, in regards to this, I also said to y'all, and again, I'm not going to say that I take back what I said, but again, I want to expand on it. I said that if, for me, I respect trans women who go the whole 9 yards with their transition. What I meant by that is this: if you have done all the work, right? Lengthening your hair, changing your facial structure, right? Enlarging your breast, taking the necessary medication, what have you, drugs or what have you. then my thing is, if you leave this right here, right, you everything you're willing to change, but this right here, which don't get it twisted, because I want to make sure it's understood. I respectfully understand how, not even probably from an economic standpoint, how costly that may be to get that kind of operation done. But I can understand that could be a very questioning decision to be made because again, you don't know how things are going to work out. I give you that. But then it's like at the same time, you were willing to commit all the way. So to me, if you want to be called a woman, but you were willing to commit all the way through to be a woman, right? Physically, all the way, as much as you possibly can in this day and age with the technology we possess, to me, it's like you're being pussy. And I actually want to expand on what I meant when I said pussy. And I'm not trying to use that as a necessarily a quote unquote what's the word I want to say, a derogatory term necessarily. But the reason I'm pointing out like that, or the first time I said it like that, is to say this. Again, to me, you want to play both sides, but then it's like, how fair is that to the women who can't play both sides then? Because here's the thing. Yes, you can get off that transition, what have you, but at the same time, who's to say you can't go back? You could, to an extent. Again, depending on how, you got your operation done. But the thing is, there's no woman here who's, let's say, gender fluid enough to where she could take herself from being a woman and could be a man in the same breaststroke. She can't do that. She's stuck being a woman. Again, she has her own benefits in life, but she she also hosts her own disabilities in life. The thing is, same thing comes for men. We have our benefits in life, we have our disabilities in life. But for those who could switch in and switch out, to me, if you're advocating for yourself to be a full-on woman, to me, it's like, why not go all the way through then? Guys, I think that's only fair. And I'll give y'all the perfect example, and you can say whatever you want to say this. And I'm probably going to close the video off on this point. Because I think this particular individual is a perfect example for what I'm trying to get at here. Give me a second. Remember, y'all, 2 pinkies out. Hold on, I'm trying to remember their name. The reason why I'm saying them is because I understand some people feel as if, oh, you should address them as this, you should address them as that. But I would say, for those who know who I'm talking about, I'm speaking about should I say their name? I'm not going to say their name. I won't say their name. For one, I can't really recall their name off the top of my head like that. But as I probably am going to further into this story, some of y'all probably going to know who I'm talking about. A certain Jenner. I'll say that. I can't think of their first name. It's Kate. It starts with K. I'll end it on that, and the last name is Jenner. But I'll end it on that point. But let's say K. Let's address them as K. K went through a certain transition some years ago that made the news. They got people talking about, oh, was this why did they do this? Why did they do that? And should they still be, should that individual still be considered, valuable to be holding certain records that they broke during the time of certain Olympics? I'll say that. And it's not spoiled, y'all, but it spawned into, different discussions about, in regards to trans women and different things within the LGBTQ plus community and, different agendas, what have you. But what I thought was so interesting about it all was this, that this particular individual, we'll call them K, have won the Woman's Year of the Year, Woman of the Year award. And to me, when I heard about that, first of all, I really don't give a fuck about the award, but I understand y'all. But I understand it plays some significance for some people. And to me, what I do give a fuck about is that people are being fair about these things as much as they possibly can. So as far as I'm personally concerned, y'all, and again, you can take what I'm about to say as a hot take if you want to or not. It's up to you. But as far as I am personally concerned, that's not fair. they should not K should not have gotten the Woman of the Year award because first of all, you have not been a quote unquote woman for even less than a year, but somehow you got nominated and you got it. Excuse me? What the fuck is that about? How that made anyone again, y'all? If you've made up to this point in this video and you have a problem with what I just said, by all means, again, y'all, you know what to do. Hit me in the comment section down below. Get in my Twitter in the comment section, not comment section, my Twitter in the description box, or get me up at Discord. Again, I'm gonna put my stuff down there because I want someone to explain this to me. Make this make sense to me. How is it that an individual that has been a man for damn near all their life, only apart from a few years ago, right? And in their transitions of being a woman, somehow they are not even just nominated, which again, I find it far-fetched. What the fuck is that about? And secondly, again, they somehow get the Woman of the Year award when you've not been a woman less than a year. How the fuck that makes sense? Again, y'all, I don't give a fuck about the award, but I give a fuck about the fairness. That does not make sense. Make that make sense to me. And you can take what I'm saying as being disrespectful or hatred or this, that. But again, no hatred or dismay towards the individual. But at the same time, what does that say for women out here who may look at that award and say that's giving their what's the word I would say? Is giving the roses to the women who deserve those rewards. I don't know why I keep saying rewards. Awards is what I'm trying to say, y'all. To me, that's not fair. But then if you call it out for how unfair it is, someone's going to pitch you as, oh, you're being this, you're being that. And it's like, why not just, again, tell me why. Dude, again, explain to me. I'm willing to sit down with you and explain to me. Why is it that this came out? Because as far as I am personally concerned, to me, and ladies, I'm not speaking for all of you, but you know who you are. We can talk about being accepted. We can talk about being respectful. We can talk about not trying to body shame people. We can do all that stuff. But ladies, there are some of you, and you know who you are. You talk a bunch of bullshit. Be honest. No. I'm being serious, y'all. But let's go ahead and call out for what it is. A lot of y'all gonna talk your bullshit because you weren't trying to save face. Because I find it interesting to me is that when it comes to some men who, let's say, may hold a certain unpopular opinion, or let's say they're portraying a certain thought or a certain idea to you that you don't like, you'll use the gay slander to them. And to me, it's like, wait a minute. If women are supposed to be allies, or they're propping themselves to be allies of the LGBTQ plus community, to my homosexual brothers out here, then to me, when you do those shame tactics, you're not making the situation any better for them. That shows me you really don't care to be an ally. That don't show me you really care to be your friend. Because and you know what's so fucked up? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I know we were talking about trans women here, y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and say this. You know what's so fucked up to me is some of y'all would swear up and down. Be honest, some of y'all, in fact, for any of my homosexual brothers out here, I bet there's a bitch right now you can think of. I'm gonna go, yeah, I said it, bitch. There's a bitch out there you can think off the top of your head that swears up and down you're her best friend, but then let a man do her wrong on some level, and you see her going up and down any direction she possibly can to demonize him, to manipulate him, to disrespect him, to go so far as to demasculate him. And somehow she does not, at some point in time, doesn't click in her mind that, you know what? That's fucked up. That's not just fucked up to him, that's fucked up to my friend, because at the end of the day, he's still a man. If I'm advocating for such a behavior to be done onto another man, I'm willing for the open opportunity to happen to my quote best gay friend. Make that shit make sense to me, y'all. But like I said, y'all, I don't want this video to go off too long, but I'm gonna end it on that point. Again, y'all, if I said anything at this point in the video that you're against, you don't fuck with, I implore you, again, give me in the comment section down below. I will reply to you. Give me in my Twitter. I will reply to you. If you get on my Discord, I will reply to you. I promise you I will. But with all that being said, y'all, thanks for checking out the video. And I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace, love, namaste, and I'm out. Bye.